persuasion, east or west, where's the best for romancing?
This is Joan Arbitrating and Love and Understanding. I'm Shirley Ludford, and this is the music chosen by our guest, as today we have a very special meets guest for you. Last week at the Arts Centre saw the first of an audience with a series of interviews and features with celebrities live on stage at the Arts Centre.
You took me down.
Our first guest to a packed audience was a lady who was leather-clad in Doctor Who. She was a female warrior. She was a tarty temptress in Tenko. She played Susan, the partner of the man who plays Bergerac. Hear more about him shortly. Very talented lady who also has her own production company and loves to inspire young people. She has a great sense of humour and she wowed the audience at the Arts Centre last week. It's Louise Jameson. Well, I think, welcome, first of all, a warm welcome as well. Portraying roles from a tarty intern, I think it's been described as a Japanese cat, to a leather-clad barbarian lady with a time warrior, to a prison visitor in real life, to your own production company, and many keen challenges that you've taken as well. There's just no stopping you, is there? So a very intriguing life, I think, is going to be unfolding as we meet the delightful, let's give a warm welcome, Louise Jameson. And we started hearing a piece of music, and it wasn't just by any piece of music, it was actually chosen by you. A particular reason?
Well, you rang me up and said, what's your desert island disc? And it's a game do you play it? Do you ever play that? What's my desert island disc? Shane, will I do it? Michelle had a few drinks at a dinner party. And the one I would run into the waves to rescue would be Joan Arbitrating Love Affection. And she's just been with me in my life since, well, I guess the album came out in about 78, 79. I discovered it in about 1980. And she's kind of been like a best friend. She's seen me through, you know, the worst and the best of times. She's always been my background music. And both my kids, who are now 27 and 29, have it on their iPods. And they say they can remember dancing, you know, when they were this high, they can remember dancing with me to that particular piece of music. And I've been watching her perform almost from that year. And she used to say, wonderful. She used to say, "Oh, don't join in with this. You need a singer to sing this." And you could feel the audience kind of go on. Now she holds out the microphone and that lovely song "Willow," "I'll be your shelter in the storm." You know the one I mean. And the audience sings it, and it's like a very soft, gentle, like it's so moving. It's just fantastic to have watched her develop. And that saxophone riff just opened up a whole new genre of music for me. So if you like Joan Arbitrating, you guys, check out Ben Webster, the saxophone player. Just
Playing the CD, playing the iPod. What about playing music? Do you play anything yourself?
I play the piano a bit. I do five tunes spectacularly.
They come out at every occasion.
Yes. So if you only listen to me once, you'll think I'm rather good. But I never learned to sight read. I think I'm slightly dyslexic, and I think that moves itself over into not being able to read the music, the notes on the thing, they just jumble about. I can't seem to correlate it at all.
So into acting?
Into acting.
I've seen some delightful photographs of you about 8 years old on the website of age. They actually look gorgeous, but they weren't in character. So how old were you when you decided this is going to be the move for me?
I can remember the exact moment. I was 4 years old and I played Little Miss Muffet rather well. Judith Black was the spider. And I was incredibly chubby and she was incredibly skinny, so I think we were sort of cast rather well, and I was eating my curds away. And I jumped up and I screamed, and the audience was probably about this size. And they gave me a glass bowl, never be allowed now, would it? And of course it shattered everywhere. And I ran out, and I literally stopped the show because I had to sweep up. But I got this enormous round of applause, and I thought, that's it, this is what I'm going to do.
And that's what you did?
That's what I did, yeah.
Oh, and did you have supportive parents?
Yeah, and my mum was queen of the amateur dramatics, and
Not at home, but professional.
well, I think it was around, actually. And I think had she been born in a different era, she would definitely have become a professional. She did one Scotch porridge oats advert, and then got pregnant with my brother, so that was that. She chose mother with
Had her oats and ate them.
Yeah. You should do stand-up.
Well, you've heard my jokes once, you don't want them again. A bit like your 5 on the piano. But away you were. And in fact, you did really well, didn't you? You went to the various places to learn. And what better than going to RADA? And it's not easy to get into RADA, is
They
it?
let me in. I went to my mother's amateur dramatic company, age 12, and I did always look older than my age. They gave me Viola at 15, so I'd had a nice little grounding. I had a brilliant drama teacher at the Braeside School for the Young Ladies, which didn't really teach me anything except not to swear. and then she said, we'll audition you, audition for all the schools, and we'll treat it as practice this year. And deep down inside I thought, this isn't going to be practice. I'm going to get in. I'm going to get into this college. I'm not going to waste a year. My parents said I absolutely had to get another qualification. So I'm a touch typist.
Excellent.
Yes, which, you know, given the way computers have developed, is fantastic. So they let me in. I got accepted at 16, started at 17, and I was out at 19, ready to go. How lucky am I?
And then on to the Royal Shakespeare.
Yeah.
What a fantastic opportunity there again. And not only training there for 2 or 3 years, but also you were awarded a Shakespeare Award for Best Classical Actress.
Yeah.
No mean achievement, indeed.
Yeah.
And what was the performance in particular?
Well, the classical performance was actually a restoration comedy, She Stoops to Conquer, but they gave me the Shakespeare Award for it. But nobody else has ever asked me that before.
Yeah.
It was for She Stoops to Conquer.
And many performances you've had, of course, of Shakespeare. Is that one you've performed in later life or not?
What, She Stoops? No, I've not performed that
Not
since.
since.
No, I couldn't play the same role again. I'd be far too old now. I could play her mother.
Yeah.
Or her grandmother even.
And travel with it.
But Shakespeare is, of course, the first love, and I teach it as well. I do an open air production with teenagers every summer. And this year we did the do you mind me saying?
No, you carry on.
What did you say? We did Macbeth this year, and last year we did Midsummer Night's Dream. The year before we did Romeo and Juliet. And I adapt them so that they're specifically for a youth group, so that nobody's left without a part. I mean, Macbeth, for example, had this huge chorus of witches, so they were all witches, and the characters kind of came out of the chorus and then sang back in again. So the witches completely controlled the sort of macabre events that go on with Macbeth.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And this was, you say it's at first love, really, because theatre is passion for you, isn't it?
I think if you can do Shakespeare, you can do anything. You can handle any text, because it doesn't. You do need training up. You do need to know certain tricks and breath control and all that stuff that goes along with the craft. And I think if you've got that kind of training behind you, then you can handle sometimes the not terribly good scripts that are thrown your way hastily. Not naming any names. Any
Oh, go on.
particular productions. I
wonder who that could be.
So you can bring all those skills to play on a script that might need a little lift, a little extra there from the actor.
I'm passionate about making opportunities available to young people. So you actually launched what you call your Sunday Drama Club.
College,
Yes.
I called it SDC. I thought it had a little RSC ring about it. That's why I did that. I'm terribly proud of them. It's been going since 2008. We've got 2 students into Central School. We've got 1 into RADA. We've got 1 into the Edinburgh equivalent of RADA, and I've got 5 into the National Youth Theatre. So I'm just thrilled. But it's because I teach audition technique alongside all the other stuff. Because auditioning is incredibly. It's like
It's a skill.
2 different jobs. It's not the same as rehearsing and performing something. It is absolutely, yeah. Oops. You have to kind of create your own play within 2 minutes. You have to
together, really have a specific beginning, middle and end, and make it work that way.
Well, I must say, looking absolutely glamorous and gorgeous this evening, but proudly you say that earlier this year you celebrated your 60th birthday.
I've got the same birthday as Hitler.
That stopped them in their tracks. And you have not one, but like the Queen, 2 parties.
I have had 2 parties, and I've got a 3rd one coming out.
3? Isn't that rather greedy?
Yes.
Good. Enjoy. But they were quite different,
The
weren't
first one my brother hijacked, and he took a room in a restaurant in London, and there were 30 of my nearest and dearest. And people flew in from all over. My son came back from Egypt, and my niece came over from France, all of the surprise. It was lovely. And then I just had my local park, said you can have the ground floor. 150 people turned up, and you all got drunk. And the sun shone. They've got 15 acres below the pub, and the sun shone, and it was just everyone all over the grounds. It was absolutely fabulous. And my 3rd one is going to be a Tenko reunion, because they turned up to the 2nd one and said, let's have another.
Any excuse for a party, and you'll be there.
Yeah, I will be there.
Excellent.
And Steph Cole turns 70 this year, and I turn 60, so they're going to combine.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Loads of reasons to celebrate.
Yeah.
Well, age there doesn't worry you don't mind telling us your age, but not too long ago you decided that perhaps you ought to make a visit for a facelift.
I did.
And it led on to something quite unusual.
About 7 or 8 years ago, I thought I would go for a nip in the tuck, and I booked in and I had the consultation, and I just went in and I went, subtle and natural, they're my buzzwords, but he persuaded me into a full kind of Siamese cat in a force nightingale. And he patted me on the way out, which kind of made me go like that. But I thought, you're not going to find a politically correct plastic surgeon, are you? What was I, what's that? They're all men as well, which is interesting. They're all men that do this surgery. And I booked the date, and I was going to have it done, and then I got a job, and I said, well, I'll ring you when I've got, because you have to wait for 6 weeks for the bruising to go down. And I never rebooked it. But I did a job with a woman called Helen Goldring, and she's a writer as well as a performer, and she wrote me this one-woman show called Pulling Faces. And we've used that experience, and I play not me, but it's definitely based on me. She's actually a radio presenter with a daughter rather than an actress with 2 sons, so we've just kind of steered it slightly away from me. She's got a toy boy, which isn't me, I wish. An ex who wasn't so pleasant, that's me. A very inspiring aunt, and the plastic surgeon's in it, my builder's in it. I was having terrible trouble with a builder at the time. We've got him in it, and I play them all.
Don't argue with me or you'll be in my play.
Be nice.
I shall. We just mentioned Tenko, and we heard some nods over there for recognition, I think, of a brilliant series. It ran for 30 episodes, and you had a very interesting character. It was described in the introduction as a little bit tarty to begin with. That was the character. But she was also a very feeling character, and that sort of came out in a very unusual way. Blanche Simmons.
I was originally offered Rose, which Stephen Beecham played, and the director offered me that, and he said, just as a kind of, just to be polite, I want you to come and meet the producer, Ken Riddington. So I went to meet Ken, and he took one look at me and he said, you're much too much of a part. He said, I think you should play Blanche. And I went, who's Blanche? Because I hadn't seen the script then. So they locked me in a room with 7 scripts, and I read them. And even though Blanche was 2 or 3 episodes left, she didn't get to go to Kuala Lumpur or Singapore. I've got 1 in every 30 scripts lands on your doorstep, and it goes, it's almost like you were her in another life or something. I know that sounds hippie and dippy, but it just, she rang out at me, Blanche. She's without doubt my favourite part ever, anything I've ever done. And that's the one I took. So it meant I was not going to work for the next 2 months, so I took another job elsewhere and met the father of my first son. So it